So today, I strung together some of my favorite NBA drawings, NBA lineups that I ever made into one action-packed video. So sit back, grab a snack, a drink, because I'm gonna get started when I drew the most entertaining starting five. So I went position by position, drawing the most entertaining players, starting with the point guard. So for this most entertaining lineup, we obviously needed to grab a point guard that was box office, grab the popcorn, must watch TV, and I think most of us would agree that has to be Ja Morant. Of course, that's who I'm sketching, drafting, adding to this team. You know, this is elite ball knowledge right here. That's the thing you're gonna see throughout this video. I feel like I got some really high level ball knowledge when it comes to making the picks, making the choices for the lineups. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, why didn't you add Steph Curry? If you're doing entertainment, you gotta have Steph Curry. And I hear you, but there's something about Ja just dunking on people, posterizing them. It's must watch, must see TV, and that's why he had to be added as our point guard. And the next person I'm adding, bro, same thing, it's a must watch player. Like I keep saying, this is the most entertaining lineup. That's the only thing we're worried about is entertainment. And this man I sketched has the best handles, is one of the best 1v1 players. Of course, we had to add Kyrie Irving to the entertainment lineup. Come on, bro, y'all know he had to be in this. His dribbling skills, how he finishes at the rim, this makes a perfect addition for this roster. And at this point, you can see we made the right choices for the lineup, so we had to keep it up. Now, when I made this, instead of adding like a traditional small forward, I decided to go with another guard since I feel like it's a really entertaining position. And I had to add prime James Harden. Prime James Harden, no question, he has to be added to the most entertaining lineup because, bro, he was averaging like 36, 37 points a game. And as I'm working on the color here, you can notice I had to over-exaggerate his beard to go along with his nickname. I even covered his mouth. You can't even see it at all. I drew all these players in kind of my own like cartoonish style. I thought that would look nice. But we were 3 players deep, so we had to add a fourth.
They only want in the jersey, yeah. Slim it in after the
and listen, back when I was working on this lineup, I was like asking y'all, who should be on this? If we're talking entertainment, like a power forward, who should it be? And a lot of people suggested Zion Williamson. So of course, that's who I ended up sketching to this roster. Now, obviously, we could have went with Giannis, but if you keep watching this video, you're gonna see like I ended up drawing Giannis a lot on some of the other lineups. But at this point, I was feeling super confident because I feel like we got the right players and now we just need the center.
I don't see nobody outpacing, I'm focused.
So right off the bat, man, you can see at the time who we had to add to this lineup, bro. It had to be Wemby. It had to be Wemby. But right here, you can see what the full lineup looks for the most entertaining starting five. Most entertaining, but listen, this team would definitely lose. I'm talking lose by probably 60 points against this next lineup that I drew. And of course, that lineup that I'm talking about is gonna be the most unbeatable starting five. So we had to start with a point guard. So you can see we started with a clean, new, fresh slate, a completely different roster that's not gonna be the most entertaining, it's gonna be the most unstoppable. And to make this team unbeatable, unstoppable, we had to add Bron. And make no mistake, I don't wanna hear anything else. If you're saying like this is the greatest team ever, it has to have LeBron in it. Bro, there's no other way. In fact, I almost made this whole team 5 different versions of LeBron, but I ended up settling for Miami Heat LeBron as our point guard. So at this point, I needed to add a shooting guard. Now, when I added this person right here as my shooting guard at the time, I don't think there was too many people that disagreed. I'm pretty sure we were all in line, had the same thoughts. To further cement this team as unstoppable, we had to add MJ. Had to add Michael Jordan to this roster. As I keep saying, the goal of this team was to be unstoppable, and we might have achieved it right now. You know, we have Bron and MJ on the same team. We might have got the goal already. But at the time, I knew we were missing one crucial player. One crucial player that really needed to be added to turn this team up even further. Now this next player I added, I started to sketch off digitally. This was back when I first got my XP pen tablet. I was just working on it, trying to get the feel of how the programs work. But in terms of the player I had to add, bro, y'all knew we needed a shooter to this team, so we got to add that man. We had to draw Steph Curry. I remember too, I was trying to draw him in more of an anime style back then, but it did not turn out how I expected it to. This was how it looked on the paper. But listen, at the current moment in time as I was making this, the team was Bron, MJ, and now Steph Curry. Listen, we won. We already won. You can't name another like 3-player team at the moment that could beat them. It's over. I won. But we still got 2 more players we had to add to this lineup. And of course, like I said way earlier in the video, you were gonna see Giannis a lot. I had him added in a lot of the lineups, and he had to be he had to be on the unbeatable roster, I felt like. Now at the time, bro, a lot of y'all disagreed with this choice. I was getting like chewed up in the comments about adding him. People said I should have put like Tim Duncan or somebody, but I don't know. I felt like Giannis was the right choice. And I think I made the right choice at center too. Now, I don't think this should be any surprise if we're making an unstoppable, unbeatable starting 5. Our big man, bro, it gotta be Shaq. It gotta be Shaq. But here was the reveal for the most unbeatable, unstoppable starting 5. You can't name another starting 5 that can beat this one. Now, I'm gonna completely change gears because I'm gonna draw 4 NBA players as their nicknames. And the first nickname is... So of course, the first NBA player I drew as their nickname was Wemby as Alien. And back when I did this, I had to use the alien emoji as like a reference because I didn't really know how to draw an alien, but that's the nickname that I'm gonna go with first on this paper. Now, before I started making videos of different themed NBA lineups, I used to spam NBA nickname videos. That was my favorite type of NBA video to make, and it still is. I don't know, it's just really fun to try to imagine or visually portray an NBA player just walking around as their nickname. Now, Wemby's other nickname was Slender Man, but I did that in a way earlier video, like a couple years ago. So Alien it had to be. That was the first one that I went with right here on this lineup. And next up, when I was doing this sketch, I used to always ask y'all in the comments, you know, what nicknames do you want to see next? Which ones do you want to see me draw? And the one that got spammed over and over and over, of course it was Anthony Edwards. He's a popular player, and it had to be his Ant-Man nickname. So that's, you know, I had to draw him as the superhero Ant-Man, like his own version, like the Timberwood version of Ant-Man. So right here, you can see we had 2 out of 4 nicknames done. So of course we moved into the third. Obviously, Devin Booker's nickname Book, that's a classic. That's one of the best nicknames in the league, so you knew we had to have a drawing of that. But you can see I wasn't the most creative with this drawing, but I was happy because I ended up adding backgrounds to all the drawings, and I really liked how they went.
Working before I was paid for it, ain't no finish line, I'm trying to race to it, I'ma bring it down.
So of course, Allen Iverson AI, another classic nickname. I tried to draw him as like a neon robot. I don't really know why, but I'm gonna show you what it looked like. Here was 4 NBA players as their nicknames. And next up, bro, it's one of my favorite NBA lineups that I ever made. Next lineup I'm working on is NBA Heroes starting 5. An NBA Heroes starting 5, so we need the point guard. Now, what I meant by heroes was some of the more likable players, you know, the hometown heroes, the players that have like really high jersey sales. That's kind of the direction I was going for, and with that said, you knew who the point guard was gonna be. Now, you gotta be Mr. Inspirational, all the kids love him, but it gotta be Steph Curry. We had to put him in this roster. You can see too, I had to draw him doing his night-night pose. That's his go-to. We had to put him in that, but we got the point guard in place. The point guard was in place, so next up. Now, another thing I took into consideration when I was putting together this hero-themed lineup was nicknames. You know, I just made the NBA nickname lineup. Some of the players got nicknames of like superheroes, like Ant-Man and stuff, so I had to go with Spider Mitchell. I mean, he got a superhero themed nickname, so it makes sense to put him on this lineup, doesn't it? And I'm gonna be honest, at this point in time, I was really happy with the results of the first 2 players right now. Now, if we're doing a valid hero starting 5, we gotta add the face of the league. So of course, y'all know that had to be Braun. Now check the dedication. I had to end up buying like a cosplay sword just to use as a reference because I wanted to add a sword in his hand. You know, I wanted to play into the hero theme, add some elements that they're holding or around them to go along with that theme. I'm not gonna lie, at the time, man, I felt like this was one of the best looking lineups that I made so far. I just really liked how it looked, so I had to keep it up. Now, of course, we had to go with another player that's loved by the little kids, super popular, jersey sales like through the roof, but we had to add Giannis to this. And like I said just recently earlier with LeBron, how I was gonna give them elements to look more hero-like. That's what I'm gonna do with Giannis, kind of play along with his nickname, Greek Freak, add some clouds, some lightning around him. And now all we needed was a hero center to complete this. And now I had to go with somebody y'all suggested. Of course, I had to be Steven Adams. He's really well liked, well loved, so we had to put him in. But this was for sure one of my favorite NBA lineups that I made. I had a lot of fun making this one. And I had the same feelings with this next NBA nickname theme drawing I made. So we're bringing it back to NBA nicknames, and I have to draw 4 more of the most popular ones. Now, bro, listen to me when I say this. Out of all the NBA nickname videos, drawings I made, I honestly feel like this one right here, this sketch of Steph Curry as babyface assassin, it probably was my favorite, bro. I just really liked how this one turned out. Of course, I was trying to draw him like he was in Assassin's Creed. Now listen, I did mess up like really bad, like right around here, but I ended up going back into the drawing and restarting, and I just really like this end result, man. I really liked it. As I said at the start, I had to draw some of the most popular, best nicknames in the league, and the Joker, bro, y'all know that's iconic. That's an iconic nickname. So of course, my game plan from the start was going in and making him look like the DC villain, the Joker. We gotta give him the face paint, the smile, the purple suit. It all gotta be there, man. It all gotta come together. I did try to draw him too in like a comic book type of style, but I don't have like too much experience with that. Obviously, I don't like draw it a lot, so I was just kind of testing things out, seeing how it went. 2 nicknames out of 4, and we gotta move on to the next one. Now, y'all saw earlier in the video, I did previously draw Ant-Man, but I didn't draw him with a helmet that last time. This time is a little bit different. I drew him in a more of a cartoony style, and of course, the helmet's there. But I'm gonna be honest, it's been a while since I made an NBA nickname theme video. Maybe like 3 or 4 months, I wanna say, now that I'm thinking about it. I still got a long list of like NBA nicknames. Like looking back, this was what the list looked like back then when I was making this video, but I even added some more names to this. Some more nicknames that y'all suggested, so I might have to run this back, makes a couple more. Now you can see 3 of the 4 nicknames on this panel. We got one more. Of course, I've been going with the iconic classic nicknames. We had them in the lineup, so that's what I had to do, the proud for Anthony Davis. Now you can tell this piece is a little bit old too, because I still had him on the Lakers. Back when I was drawing this, he was still on the Lakers. Of course, he's on the Mavericks now, but anyway, I'm gonna show you the full reveal of all the nicknames. And I thought this was one of my better nickname panels that I ever made, but now we gotta switch things up. I'm gonna draw the most aura starting 5. So this is gonna be the most aura lineup, the NBA players with the most aura. Of course, I drew position by position, starting with the point guard. This lineup here is completely different from the other ones that I made. This one is completely based on aura. So we gotta add the players, you know, with the most. And when it comes to point guard, there's a lot of players in that position that could fit the aura theme, but I had to go with LaMelo, man. We had to go with LaMelo Ball. Now, honestly, back when I made this decision to add him, a lot of people didn't agree with me. I felt like everybody would agree with this decision, or at least most people would accept it, but you know, y'all didn't like this. Y'all said I should have added Curry or even like Westbrook. I think a lot of people said him, but I felt like I made the right decision here. Let me get his jersey colored in. I had to pull up a picture of it though, just as a reference. And this right here, bro, is our most aura point guard. We got the shooting guard next. Now, I felt like this one was kind of obvious. You know, you knew what we had to go with shooting guard. Of course, it had to be SGA, Shai Gilgeous. Now listen, I did draw this prior to him winning the championship. If I drew this after, I probably would have added the Larry O'Brien trophy, maybe put like the champagne goggles on him and everything, but I think that this was the right choice. I was kind of trying to stay away from some of the older players for this lineup because I've been drawing them a lot recently, and I wanted to draw some of the younger players in the NBA. But, you know, the theme with this lineup, it gotta be the most aura. And so far with the 2 players we got added, I feel like we're accomplishing our goals, so I gotta keep it up with the 3rd. Now, I'm gonna be honest, man. This was the one player that y'all told me was mandatory on this lineup. When I told y'all I was gonna make an aura lineup, who should I put? Anthony Edwards probably was the most suggested. I'm not even gonna lie. So of course we had to give him a guaranteed spot, a reserved spot on his starting 5.
I pull up, I come around, make my rounds, it's my town.
Now of course I know some of y'all noticed, but I was using current players for this aura lineup too. Let me know if I should make one with all-time players. I gotta include the 90s, 80s, 70s, just all-time in the NBA. Let me know if I should do that.
This is a why am I all in my feelings when I got these
right
people
here at this current moment, you can see that Anthony Edwards was on the paper, and now we gotta move on to the power forward. Now, I didn't expect a lot of people to agree with my decision for power forward, but I was surprised. A lot of people actually like suggested it and thought it was the right decision. I went with Kawhi. I had to go with Kawhi Leonard. Of course, we had to add him because, you know, his nonchalant attitude, laid back, it doesn't look like anything phases him. And I gave him like a claw too for his nickname. You can see it in his hand.
I come around, make my rounds, it's my time.
Now for the center, this was kind of similar to what I was doing with Kawhi. I went and added Jokic. It kind of went the same reason with Kawhi, but this was the entire starting 5, most aura starting 5. I feel like we got this lineup spot on, but listen, the next roster I had to draw, the next lineup is gonna be the best NBA nickname at each position. So I'm gonna go position by position, drawing the best nickname at each one, starting with the point guard.
Do you mind if I call you on FaceTime?
So to kickstart this lineup, man, the best nickname at point guard, I made the decision I wasn't gonna add Chef Curry, I wasn't gonna add AI. I had to go with a classic, and that classic was Magic Johnson. That's who I had to put at point guard for this.
Talking me plus you, I got things to do. Talking me plus you, I got
Like I keep on saying through this video, this was another one of those decisions that y'all did not agree with me. But everybody said that this should have been Chef Curry if we're talking about the best nickname at point guard. I don't know. I'd still stand by picking Magic. I feel like this was the right decision. But along with this decision too, y'all disagree with who I put as shooting guard. And I was honestly amazed at this. I thought everybody would agree that the best nickname, like the hands down best NBA nickname at the shooting guard position, was Black Mamba. That's who I was sketching right here. But a lot of people were saying like MJ's nicknames, like his Airness Air Jordan should have been in this spot. Bro, man, I don't know what y'all were talking about. I feel like this gotta be here. Black Mamba, bro, it gotta be here.
We could be in Barcelona, we could be in Mykonos.
Out of like all the NBA drawings though I made this year, this was one of my favorites. I just really liked how this one came out. Remember earlier in the video where I had that sword I needed for LeBron? I used that same sword as a reference to get this drawing done too. But here is the 2 best nicknames, point guard and shooting guard. So you know what's next, and you know who I'm gonna add next.
Only if you say so.
Then next up, a lot of people got on my head for not adding LeBron to the most aura lineup. They felt like he should have been there, so I had to make it up by adding him into the best nicknames lineup, and of course his nickname, The King. It had to be on there. Now I do feel like for this one, there probably was some other options we could have went with, like maybe Kevin Durant's nickname. He had a really good one that I could have added, but you know, I gotta, bro. LeBron's nickname is a classic, it's iconic. I felt like we had to put it in this roster. Now right here, man, you can see what the best nickname in each position was looking like. So far, we got lineup almost finished, but it was 2 more spots we had to add. This one, bro, I understand. Like, I know a lot of people were mad with me adding this one, but I had to go with the round mounder rebound, which was Charles Barkley's nickname. I just think it's hilarious. We had to put it at the power forward spot. Now, when I made this decision at the time, people in the comments started to say like, you just trolling at this point. they didn't agree with this one at all. They said after I drew LeBron, I just like gave up on this entire lineup. But I still feel like this was a good decision. So since at the moment we got 4 players added to the lineup, that means there's just 1 spot left. 1 spot which is going to be the best nickname at the center position. So let's get started with that. And for center, you know, I know a lot of people were suggesting Shaq, but as you can see, I went with Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. We had to go with that nickname. I just think it's hard. But right here, man, I'm gonna show you the full reveal of the best NBA nickname at each position. But if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Let me know which lineup panel you thought came out the best, and new videos will be on the way. So thank you guys for watching. New videos coming soon, and I'm out.